Number 4 on this one of guarding your time is quick or no. We've touched on this before, and I feel like a lot of people have touched on this. It is the hardest thing to do because you don't always know when to say no and when a file's not going to be a fit for you until you're kind of elbows in. Um, at which point, sometimes it feels like it's too late to pull out. But if you can get into the habit of it and just get a little bit better on it, you do save yourself so much time. We talk about this all the time when we're like doing like a bitch and resolve where we kind of just complain about what's going on in our file and we come up with a few quick ways on how to resolve those issues. And a lot of it, like Tom or myself will just point out, like, hey, if you had said no at the gates, this isn't really our type of file. If you said no, you wouldn't be in this right now. And we are always like, you're so right. Um, it doesn't feel good realizing that because at that point, usually it's too late. But if you can get to that quicker no faster, you're going to save yourself probably 10 to 20 hours, which does compound over the year.
Yeah, and like you said, it is easier said than done, but it will save you time, and it takes a lot of I would honestly say skill and practice because you're gonna need skill and, practice through it to find out which ones you're gonna say no to, and that comes down to, like, making your no-go list, right out of the gate and refining that over time, and we've talked about that. You can go back to earlier episodes on the no-go list, but another point is that it's not just for leads and client files, it can be for referral partners. So I just had a good example of this last week. A realtor partner of mine, I wouldn't even call him a realtor partner, just someone that I connected with. I pitched to him probably about like 6 to 12 months ago. Like it was quite a while ago. He's not the busiest, and I like the guy. We hit it off, but like I've only had one or two leads from him. They never went anywhere. And I just know he's not the busiest realtor. And for me, he was asking me to be part of his seminar in late January, and I know I would have had to do prep for it. It's not really part of my overall marketing plan this year, so I had to say no to him, and it was kind of a weird thing to do because usually I take up on those opportunities for any realtors because obviously like that's what we do. We work with realtors, but to say no to it was like hard at first, but after I was like, oh man, like felt great. Now I'm not going to waste, I don't know, however long it would have taken me to create my own presentation for it and to go drive there, do the whole thing. Who knows how many people are going to actually be present for the seminar?
Yeah.
So that's a good example of like just say no.
Yeah, I've had the same thing where someone sent me this whole like US breakdown of different rates over the years and they're like, this is done in the States. Could you do this in Canada? And I was like, I'm sure I could do this. Like I'm smart enough to put this together for you. But like this is gonna take me probably 10 hours of work. And I don't think the return on it is worth my time. So I'm like, appreciate you coming to me and thinking that I would be the one to do this for you, but it's just not the right fit for how I work. And they're like, okay, that's cool. I totally get that. I respect that you respect your time.
Yeah.
And we've had that too with even within our brokerage, asking us to do certain things where we've just said no, like it's not a good fit for us and how we're allocating our time right now. Like we're focused on growing our book of business and other pieces, and we can't always be the guy, even though we can physically, mentally, we're capable of doing it. We're guarding our time. We're protecting and making sure that we're pointed towards the things that we actually want to get done.
Well, yeah, and we have the podcast to reference, right? Like we get, I'm pretty sure in one of a couple of those examples, like you've just pointed them in the direction of the podcast because we've already covered that topic. It's like, hey, like go listen to this. Sure, if you have more questions, feel free to ask. But like, yeah, it's hard. You got to guard your time, and you feel like a dick saying it, and it doesn't
Yeah,
come naturally for me either. But and especially like if you're newer in the business, if it's a realtor or someone asking you for your time, and you deep down you know it's not worth your time, but maybe you don't have business, sure, go explore it, but like just think to yourself, like if I had those 2 hours, is there something else I can do to get more leads? Yes, there is. We've talked about all of it. Go put your head down, do 2 hours of lead gen, and I promise you, you'll get way more business than spending 2 or 3 hours trying to set up a seminar with one realtor where you have no idea how many people are going to show up to that event.
for sure. And make sure if you're doing those tasks, that it's aligned with the type of files you actually want to do. I see so many people doing them where they're like, for divorced buyers or recently separated, that kind of stuff, and like or self-employed where they don't like doing B files, or they're like, if your mortgage agent level one, you can't access certain tiers of funding like private lending, like don't do things for certain classes of investors. Like just like align yourself with the partners and the tasks that actually serve your business.
Yeah, exactly, man.